Welcome to Welcome to the webinar on Source to Win Strategic Sourcing from Insight to Impact. I would like to take 2 minutes to introduce our speaker, Mr. SN Panigrahi, sir.
Namaskar.
So, with over 30 years of corporate experience and more than 7 years in corporate training and consulting, SN Panigrahi is an accomplished electrical engineer with an MBA. He is a fellow of the Institution of Engineer, a chartered engineer, and a lead auditor for integrated management system, QMS, EMS, and OHNS. He holds a Lean Six Sigma Black Belt from Exemplar Global and KPMG and has been trained in strategy and leadership for 3.5 years. Panigrahi is a Z consultant, lean consultant, and a certified PMP as an authorized training partner instructor for PMI USA. He delivers high quality training program globally. He has served in leadership role at Symbiosis Center for Distance Learning and NIMSME and has been actively involved with the Indian Institute of Materials Management IIMM. He has conducted over 450 workshops globally, authored 500 plus articles, and presented extensively on YouTube and SlideShare. His expertise spans project management, supply chain and operations management, FIDIC contract, agile, lean project management, Six Sigma, TQM, foreign trade and shipping. So, sir, over to you.
Thanks, madam. So, welcome to all the delegates. We are ISM Institute for Supply Management, ISM India. On behalf of ISM, we are conducting the webinar Strategic Sourcing, and I am speaker for this. This is my brief profile. Of course, madam is told. Just a minute. Yeah. So, this is my brief profile. So, now let us start with the session because it is only just 1 hour program. So I am SN Panigrahi. This is my brief credentials. So let us start with the session. Today we are discussing about the strategic sourcing. So the strategic sourcing is a part of procurement, and procurement broadly we are categorizing into three categories. One is the sourcing, purchasing, and the supplier relationship. And the sourcing part is about the strategic aspect, and purchasing is a tactical aspect, that is a transactional. One is the strategic, another transactional, the purchasing, and supply chain relationships. Most of the times you are required both in the sourcing as well as the purchasing, the relationships are required. So let us move with this understanding that procurement has three elements: sourcing, purchasing, and the supplier relationship. We are focusing on the sourcing part, that is a very strategic dimension. Okay, and as I told, these are the three elements. So when we are talking the purchasing as a procurement generally on the surface of it we are looking about the getting the things done. Means from the outside the organization we are getting the either goods or services. Many times is the reactive actions. Somebody is requested the PR, and based on the PR we are making the procurement and delivering to the yeah. Here the tactical aspect is mostly we are focusing on the lowest price and the reaction based. It is reactive based, not just proactive. So the tactical arrangement most of the times you are doing, though we call procurement, but procurement is mostly focused on the purchasing at the lowest price, and the day to day like requirements we are focusing, and reactive. Once the PR comes, then we are reactively doing some purchasing process and delivering the goods, maybe in time, maybe lowest price, but not the optimal results we are not getting. So therefore the strategic sourcing is a very important aspect where we are focusing on the value creation and long term suppliers relationship and partnerships, and data driven based we are making these decisions, not just reactively something we are doing, just getting the quotations and to make the comparison, negotiation, and placing the orders. But mostly in the strategic sourcing is we are proactively making the measures, so how we can take the long term interest of the organization. It is not just prices, but many other aspects we are looking into. So that is how the strategic sourcing. And many times also we are looking at the life cycle costing, and the TCO and all thing we are talking, and proactive arrangements for the risk and resilience aspects also we are taking in the strategic aspect, that is the strategic sourcing. Okay. Now these are the things we are going to cover in this topic, means in this session. The decode your spend, align your suppliers, spend right and source smart, and build supply chain resilience, then leverage the resources, technology and capability, and finally sustainability. So these are the topics we are going to cover, and most of the things we are not going for the again theory part, but I will tell you in each of these aspects what are some of the tools and techniques we can use. Okay. So starting with the first one is the decode your spend. Means first we have to understand where we are spending and how much we are spending and what is the frequency of spending or what are the category wise spending. All these things we have to understand. So that is what the first we are to talking about this. Here we have to collect the data, our past performances, past where we are spending, that should be very clear, so that our focus must be there. Okay. So they build a robust database. Maybe we have some our ERP systems or SAP or many other systems are there. From there we have to collect the data first how we are spending, then analyze the spend, identify the patterns and opportunities, and also model the costing models you have developed. Not just every product has a different type of approaches for the strategic sourcing. So therefore we have to first categorize the items. Based on that, costing models and all things we have to develop, and cost drivers also we have to understand. Many times we are just getting the quotations on the face of it, we are negotiating without understanding the cost drivers. Cost drivers, that means, for example, you are purchasing an item. Maybe we are taking the value and this price and quantity we are multiplying, that is the value is coming, but unnecessarily we are spending only on the value part where we are negotiating. But if you know the cost drivers, means what are for example, the price is a cost driver, the quantity is a price driver, or any of the substitutions or any of the factors affecting that product is a cost drivers. So those cost drivers, cost and all thing we have to first understand what are the cost drivers and how we can leverage the cost drivers so that we can better negotiate with our suppliers. And the digital tracking AI tools, of course, nowadays available. Most of the companies now started AI adoption. That is also a inhibiting factor not to go about the full use of the AI tools. Okay. So now let us understand some of the aspects. One is I will talk about the spend cube. Spend cube means where we are spending, then who are the category wise spending, actually is the suppliers wise and also business unit wise. So this is we call it the spend cube. Okay. So that we can understand where we are purchasing, how much we are purchasing, suppliers wise, category wise, and different units or locations we have. Then those locations wise also we can understand. So that next strategies we can develop. Next is about the ABC classification. So generally we are classifying because our focus must be on the high value items. Okay. So first we have to catch the high value items. So that is A category. Maybe 70 to 80% of the cost is incurred towards these items. Maybe our raw materials or major items which have been critical items also. But of course those are the considered the high value. So those things we have to understand. The first is the focus on the A class items. Then of course B and C. Okay. A class items generally we have to strategy we have to develop focusing on the long term aspects, the suppliers relationships, and contract negotiation also, not like each offers and negotiation and other thing, but of course we have to make in the long term how we can establish the relationships. And the negotiation strategy also I will tell you later also what are the tools we can use for the best negotiations. So that has to be used. And also value engineering we have to do. It is not just negotiating, but of course we have to understand how we can create the value, how we can leverage the advantage for both the buyer and the sellers. It's not just we are squeezing the sellers, but of course we have to understand what is their means the cost factors and what are their means also cost structures, and how can we increase the value proportions. And here the means some drivers we have to understand what are the key drivers that leading for our means the value. Then risk factors also we have to understand, because these are high value items. and heavy risks are involved. So what are the risks? At present, of course, globally geopolitical situations are worsened, and in this situation also we have to understand more focus on the risk factors. Okay, then how resiliently we can address the issues. Okay, so this is in ABC. Then we have other tools also there, the category strategy. Category here, the materials wise we are categorizing. Okay, these are the different materials wise, either direct materials or MRO items or the capex items, because the different strategies are there for negotiation for the different items, the different strategies. The raw materials negotiation strategy is entirely different with respect to the, if you see with the capital expenditure or the machines and equipment when we are purchasing or project procurements, the strategy of the negotiations is entirely different. Similarly, the logistics aspects also for the raw materials are different, from the capital goods are different, and MRO and other things again different. So these, therefore, we have to understand different item wise, category wise, what are the spend we are making, so that our focus must be made accordingly on the very high value items and strategic importance items, and the different strategies we have to develop for the different type of items. Okay. Now the next aspect we are talking about the align your suppliers. Okay, because we have different suppliers are there for the different items and all things. So how to align? There is certain models are there. So one of the most popular model is a Kraljic model. This is very popularly been people are using, because where we have to strategize, where we have to focus, or what are the bottlenecks. These things we can understand. And also there is other models are there, 5 forces model. Here we have to understand the buyers has the higher leverages, or the we have the sellers are higher leverages. So that strategy we have to develop based on this understanding, who has the more authority or the power, and what are the substitution effects, and what are the industry rivalries there. These things you can understand from the Porter's 5 forces model. And like this, there are several other models are there. One of the other model also will talk about the supplier scoring card, or the scoring model. Okay, these things we are going to talk to you. Okay, so one is this one, Kraljic the matrix, and here we are taking the 2 factors. One is the supply risk and profit or impact on the if the supplies or any disruptions happens, then how that is impacting our operations or the profits. Okay, so on these 2 factors we are taking this model, and suppose we are the high impact as well as high risk factors are there. Those are the strategic items, very important items, maybe our raw materials or major critical components or the services. So these comes under the strategic items. Okay, these strategic items high impact also there, means maybe high values, and yeah, and profit and our operations also may be impacting. So therefore high risk factors also there. If anything goes wrong, the continuity we are not able to maintain, then there is a high risk factors are there. So this is the strategic items. So strategic items has a different type of our strategy we have to develop for the long term associations and the strategic partnerships, and also of course the critical services, certain things are there, consulting services or critical components are there. So that we have to make certain buffers also for the critical components, and long term association we have to develop for the, for example, for the OEMs and all things, we have to make long term association, so that support system should be there throughout the our operations. Then bottlenecks is another aspect, mean high risk but low impact. The bottlenecks generally, these we have to focus, means here the risk factors high. So therefore here the single sources are there. For example, OEM items. OEM, suppose we purchase some machine some time back, but machine related some components are required throughout the its life of the machine. So the components, whether the supply is happening or not, suppose certain times the OEM manufacturers, they stop the manufacturing of the old items, old machinery. So therefore the supply the breaks. So then there is a greater risk. So therefore when you are going to purchase any of the machines, we have to negotiate also what the support we are getting for these the components and all things or spares over a period of time. And certain time the prices also has to be negotiated. Generally we are purchasing machines, we are negotiating the at the time of the machine purchase itself, the spare parts purchase also we are negotiating for the next 2 years or 3 years. So that there's certain means we have the leverage about the pricing negotiation, because the machine purchases most of the times the suppliers, they may come down the machine prices to get the orders. but later on, what are the prices they negotiated brought down, excessively they recover it through the spare parts. So therefore, we have to negotiate that way, maybe at 2 years, 3 years, and also we have to understand how long the service they provide for our machines, maybe 5 years or even more years of this support, that has to understand. So those are the important. Like these other things also there. For example, the leverages. Leverage means these are the high spend is there, and standardized of course, then commodities and other thing, so that we have a bargain, much of the bargaining power is there, drive competitive pricing. So that is the leverage the items. And non-critical items like very small items, low value and office stationaries and other thing, or MRO certain items, there we have to find the consolidation, or certain times we have to go with the suppliers with the annual contracts, so that volume based we can get the leverage, so the better prices we can get. So like this is one of the model, and there are many other models are there. Next is we have to understand also the the means suppliers SWOT, means what is the strengths, because when we are deciding of the suppliers and pre-qualifying them for our operations or our supplies, then we have to understand the suppliers, the strengths, means maybe they have the technically very sound, or the financially sound, or they have the other capabilities are there, for example scalability and meeting our requirements. Certain times new product development is there, how far they can able to supply, means support our new product development. It's not just we are placing some order they are delivering, but also we have to understand how they can support for the new product development from the initiation stage. So that way, what is the strength they have, the technical strength, the manpower strength, and also the technology related, what the latest adoption of the technologies like AI tools and etc. And also those things we have to understand the capabilities and the collaboration approach. These are the strengths. And also the weaknesses, suppose the limited production capacity is there, or the scalability limitations are there, or the dependencies are there with various other suppliers, because they also their own suppliers. The dependency is excessively the depending on others, the value addition may be limited, and these are the some limitations, or the technology advancements limitations. There's weaknesses. Then market opportunities also we have to understand, and expansion, how they can go for the new geographies or sectors, how they can adapt for the new technologies and automation as the evolving the technological field, how they fast adapting and diversifying the materials and supply bases. So these are the market opportunities that to see. And supply threats also there, the volatility about the raw materials availability, price fluctuations, or the market competitions, etc. These are the some of the things we have to assess. After that, of course, we have to make the, just a minute, yeah. Then we are going for this Porter's 5 forces, this very powerful tool. We have to understand, before we are making the strategy for our sourcing or negotiations, we have to understand where we stand with respect to our suppliers. For example, here the bargaining power of the suppliers. Suppose the suppliers, there are limited suppliers are there, then the suppliers have the much of the higher dominance, they have the leverage, more leverage, and we may not have. For example, OEM items, suppose you want to purchase a Siemens DG set, and it's some DG set and its parts when you are getting, we don't have the others, only we have to purchase from the Siemens. We have limited that negotiation power. Okay, so therefore we have to understand who has the more the authority or the power, whether the suppliers have the more power, limited suppliers, OEM items, or the limited technology basis, or the plenty available. For example, in the market many suppliers are there, and many technological adoptions also there, and advancements are there, and therefore the supplier buyer has the now is more of the power. So based on that, our strategy also we have to develop our means negotiation strategies and sourcing strategy, long-term associations and other things also we have to develop. And also many times we are developing with the suppliers support, we are developing the substitute products. It's need not the standard products only we are procuring, but also many times new innovation, new product developments we are making, so that the substitute products with the cheaper prices are the better technology, are the better efficiencies which can provide. Like this, we have to understand how they can support. Accordingly, we have to go with the association, with the long-term association. And also inter industry competition, Within that industry, there are many players are there, and they're competing, for example. That is also certain times advantage for the buyers. Okay. And entrance, new the threat of the new entrants. Threat of new entrants means certain times what happen, suppose if you see the cement industry, quite long years, Ultratech, then other companies that are dominating the steel industry, the monopoly cartels and other thing also happening. The new entrant, the Adani has joined. Adani never into the cement industry, but they taken over the ACC, and one more company they have taken over. Now they become the major player, very strong competitor to the Ultratech. So therefore, these things, a new entrants also creates the something, the disturbance in the market. Okay. So accordingly, the prices and all thing also varies. For example, another example I'll tell you, the Asian Paints. The paint business, Asian Paint is monopoly like. Now the new players also entered. One is the Birla Group is entered, and also JSW also entered in the paint business. So Asian Paint also now revolution. They are bring the prices down, and also some innovative approaches they're making how to approach the customers and make their life easier to selection and painting and all things. So that is how they happen. The market dynamics also changes with the new entrants. Okay, so this understanding is very important, market understanding, and how the buyers or the sellers leverages these things we have to understand before developing our own strategy. Then of course, the pre-qualification of the suppliers is a very important aspect of this strategic sourcing. The pre-qualification suppliers, here the aspect is traditionally we have the pre-qualification making on the suppliers, the financial strengths or the credentials, and the technological credentials or the facilities for manufacturing and other thing. So these are the traditional components, the factors. But nowadays, because of the changing environment and changing geopolitical situations, now we have to focus is make on the risk factors also. Now earlier we don't have much of the risk factors, we are making assessment, but now we have to properly make the assessment for the risk factors. For example, how our suppliers, they can consistently deliver, continuous delivers, and what are the measures here they are taking that continuity of the supply. For example, suppliers, the 2 tier 3 tiers, the suppliers, that chain of the suppliers also we have to understand. If any disruption happens and any chain, any component of the chain, the link, then entire the chain will break and our supplies will be affected. In recent times, you must have seen the global the scenarios are because of geopolitical situations, many supply chains are breaking. Are the price risks are happening because price fluctuations happening. The oil price has gone up means every industry has been affected because the transport is affected. The means petrochemicals and all things. The even plastic, the bagging, packaging, and everything is affected. And our agriculture also affected because the urea is from the nitrogen is required from the again coming from the natural gas and many other petroleum products. So therefore, the entire system is entire operations are affected because of the some disruptions in somewhere in the world. Okay, so that is also we have to understand, and accordingly how the how we can have the resilience, not only our own resilience but also our suppliers resilience we have to understand, and also some support systems are required, we have to provide the support to them. And another one is innovations and AI adoption. Globally now it is revolutionizing because of the advancements in the technology, especially in AI technology. So how, if we are adapting, but our suppliers are not adapting, they're not aligned with our requirements and all things, then again the disruptions can happen, the breakage can happen. So therefore, all of us has the same line of understanding in terms of the technology adoption and all things. So that is also very important. Okay. Then other factors, of course, standard factors are there like quality certifications and the technical capability, the manufacturing facilities, and all these in general we do the pre-qualification when at the time of pre-qualification of the vendors, because we don't want the wrong vendors enter into our system. So therefore, we have to making the screening of the vendors, and this not again one time. It's dynamically time to time we have to do this assessment. Okay, and then the supplier's performance scorecard. This is another model because the performance also we have to make. That is one of the pre-qualification, and the other was the performance we have to measure. Means after the deliveries and all thing happen, how it can be performed. Let us understand. There are some factors are there we are taking, like quality, delivery, cost, service, technical factors, and also risk and resilience. Like that, other factors we are taking. So accordingly, we have to understand how the supply is happening. Many of the our ERP systems, including our SAP and all things, not able to capture properly and auto capture. It's not like something we are doing again taking the data and we are doing the Excel sheet again, that something. So otherwise, it has to come with the dashboards in the ERP system from the data itself. But many times it's not happening. So we have to ensure whether these can be integrated with other softwares and all things. We can integrate with our ERP data, and so that instantly that dashboards can be generated, and we can understand the suppliers the scorecards. Okay, there is various factors are there. On these factors again weightage must be given. There is no standard weightages, but based on your own situation, based on your own requirement, based on your focus areas, you can give the weightages, and then the measurements has to be done. There are some factors are shown here, the matrices, like for example quality, the defect rate, or the non-conformance rate, or certain times the delivery, for example OTF call, on time and in full, or lead time and lead time variances. Like these certain factors we have to take. Based on these are some of the things, not to a complete exhaustive list, but we can do many of the such factors, so that accordingly we have to measure, and we can understand the suppliers, the credentials and the performances. Then only it is better, because wrong entry of the any of the suppliers into our system, anytime there is a risk factor is there for our own operations. So therefore we have to assess the suppliers the scorecard time to time, maybe quarterly basis. It need not be only annual basis. Many times organizations what they do at the time of ISO audits, they cook up the scorecards based on some factors like quality, delivery, cost. Like this, they cook up an Excel sheets and they show to the auditors to satisfy the auditors. But that is not to suffix the requirements, because we have to authentically take it, but our own advantage, because we can develop the suppliers accordingly, and those non-performing suppliers we have to delete from our list, and therefore we can opportunity to introduce new suppliers also, and who have the better performance and credentials. Okay, very good. That is very good platform provided by ISM, and we are conducting many such webinars, and also we are conducting many of the workshops also, so you can join the workshops. Another workshop is I am also the speaker on 29th and 30th of this month on the FIDIC forms of contracts, and those who want to join, they can join the here. Okay, because only I'm saying some of the good tools and all things I'm showing, because the time is very limited, so therefore I'm hurrying up. Next we are talking about this SpenRite and SourceSmart. Okay, and here some of the factors we are taking is one of the suit cost modeling, and the total cost of ownership, the life cycle costing, and competitive bidding, then RF. Some of these, of course, everybody knows, and routinely we are doing. But some of the things, like I tell you about the suit cost modeling and the cost of TCU and all, I will discuss. Okay, and also negotiation related some tips I will tell you. Okay, how to go about the negotiation and all, these things will go. So this costing model, generally the cost breakdown is very important to understand that overall costing, what are the factors and what are the drivers, cost drivers. Okay, so the cost driver approach is very essential to understand the cost. Every time it may not be possible, but wherever possible. For example, fabrication is there. Fabrication case, yes, definitely we can do the cost breakdowns, because what the materials cost and what the labor cost and other things we can definitely be break down. So accordingly we can understand the cost structures. Accordingly we can negotiate with the vendors, and we can do. But it may not be possible in all type of items. Certain items, for example, you are purchasing a mobile or laptop, nobody will give the cost breakdowns. In civil engineering, for example, construction and all thing, most of the things are well established factors are there. So there the ratios of the materials usage as per the standards we very well know, and cost of that plus or minus of course we know. So therefore we can better negotiate for that. But as I told you, everywhere it may not be possible. The second aspect is benchmarking. Benchmarking with the market best practices, best prices, and what is the supplies cost with the industry standards or industry A. For example, there are certain items, copper and aluminum or the zinc. For this, LME is a benchmark. LME is a London Metal Exchange. So that is the raw material that talks about. But there is a value addition is there. So we can understand that is the raw material baseline is about the LME, and value addition what could be done that can be negotiated, and what is the cost we can negotiate, and we can fix based on the index. So index based negotiations are very good, and we can fix for the over a year also, or the 2 years also we can fix it, and we can keep the same contract valid, because index based, when the index is changing plus or minus, accordingly we can make the adjustment in the prices. Okay, so that is one of the good model, index based pricing. Even transport also, in one of the organizations we are done with the transport. Earlier we are negotiating every quarterly for the transportation, bulk transportation, because that is large integrated steel plant and bulk transportation there. And every time when you are negotiating, the transporter used to come with a lot of factors where they always try to increase the prices, and therefore we have no much of the leverage to control them. But every time we have seen for the last quite long years, that every time they're negotiating, the prices are going increasing. Therefore what we started is index based negotiation we have done. We fixed the one baseline, then we started with, this is the oil price, the means diesel. This is diesel price. With this diesel price, for example, a truck that consumes for 4 kilometers 1 liter. Assume that is one understanding we have made, because various trucks are there. Maybe a 10 tons truck load that is consumes, for example, for every 4 kilometers or the 5 kilometers 1 liter. So that is the baseline we have made. That is what the we have to understand what the cost factors, what the driving factors. So that is we have fixed, and whenever the oil prices are changing plus or minus, we are adjusting. So it depends on the distance and the type of the vehicle or the load. These are the factors we are inbuilt. So formula we have created, and accordingly we have fixed the formula, and we are placed the contracts, and the contracts are valid for year on year, the same contract going on. So as long as I was there, almost like 2 years plus, we have maintained the same contract continuing with index based. So like these certain times we can understand, so that is a good advantage, and each time we need not negotiate, and also in the negotiation there is certain chances of always increase of the prices, so that can be curtailed. Okay. So these are some of the advantages. As I told you, the cost drivers we have to understand, accordingly we have to do it. Okay. So the negotiation is coming to part, because every time the negotiation means that like a bargaining, and somebody tells X amount and we are try to bring down to the lower amounts, so bargaining like. But it is not a bargaining factor, but it is a very systematic approach we have to adopt, with well preparation and research, understanding what are the market conditions, market pricing, or some indexing. And nowadays with our technology means anywhere in the world, what are the prices and price ranges and all things we can understand. So that is why we have to make the well research before, well preparations before negotiations. And BATNA is one of the it's the best alternative to a negotiated agreement. If the negotiation fails, then what is the alternative you have to understand. So that approach is very beautiful approach. There are many other negotiation approaches are there, but this is one of them. And also, of course, we have to understand about the communication, how to communicate to them, and also strategic questioning and persuasion. And one of the very important aspect nowadays negotiation is of the e-auctions. E-auction, there are different platforms are there, and I have personally experienced with M Junction. M Junction is another platform for the steel, coal, and other things. So I worked in the steel industry. There we are adopted this a platform, the M Junction. So that is means that is reverse auction platform. So that saves a lot of time and bias and all thing will not be there. Many times what happen when you're collecting the offers individually through emails and all thing, when we are come make the comparative statement and negotiating, there are many times the bias is there, and internally also some people may leak out the prices of others, and unnecessarily bias factors will be there. So these can be eliminated with the reverse auction, e-auctions and reverse auction. So transparency will be there, and faster decisions can be taken, and it is very means time also saved. Means just within just in 1 hour we are giving this slot. Within that 1 hour, the negotiation happens automatically. Like, it's not like we are negotiating anything, but the platform negotiates itself. That means there is a one quote, for example, X person is means the supplier quoted X amount, okay, and that X amount only will be reflecting in the screen, and other suppliers can bring down below the X. Then every time we are seeing the only the amount, the price what is quoted, so others can bring down. So ultimately, once this routines happens as a competition among them, and finally before that means time is off, who is quoted just at the time of who has quoted the lowest, that vendor is selected. Like, then auto selection happens, then immediately orders can be placed within that one. After 1 hour the orders can be placed. Otherwise we are spending for the weeks together for negotiation and nothing, and all things comes down to only just 1 hour exercise. So like this latest adoption of the things are there, so that we can understand. The other one is of the we are talking about the total cost of ownership, TCO. TCO factor is we are factoring in the entire life cycles. Like, for example, you are purchasing a car. Very simple example I am telling. A car, when you are purchasing, we are not seeing on the face value of the car, but we are looking into the entire life of this car. What is the cost? Maybe mileage, because in India we are very concerned about the mileage. Now the oil prices, how it is gone, and everybody concerned about the mileage. So what is the mileage we are understanding, and also what is the servicing and how frequently servicing required, and what is the servicing cost, and also we are understanding of the resale value, because when you purchase the car, maybe after use of the 6 years we want to sell it, then what is the resale value, that is also we are understanding. So like the entire chain of the supplements, enter the life, we are understanding the cost, accordingly taking the decisions, not just on the price and the face value, but also we are taking the entire aspect. So that is how these two factors. One is you have to understand the hidden cost, the transportation, logistics, maintenance, repairs, downtimes, disruptions, or the quality failures. These also certain costs you have to take into account. Suppose you are purchasing a DG set. DG set may be not on the price of the face value of the price, but also we have to understand over a period of what is the efficiency over a period of time. Many times what happens, the efficiency at the early stages are good, but over a period of time, maybe after usage of 2 years, 3 years, the efficiency curve may comes down. Then also what is the consumption of the diesel, and how frequently the servicings are required. Each of the servicing, what is the servicing cost, the components and all things we are to supposed to change it. So what is that cost? And after disposal and all thing, also that cost and all thing we have to understand. So that is what this life cycle costing, or the total cost of ownership, and this thing emerged. Okay. Then the next elements I am going for the build the supply chain resilience. That is a very important aspect now. That is a challenging assignment now for the globally. Every supplier, they means procurement people are facing this challenge, because the risk factors are increased and tremendously going day by day. The risk factors are increasing. Okay. Just a minute, I'll see. Okay, sir, because the time is short, I'm running fast, and for which I'm sorry. But if you want, anybody wanted separate sessions for any of these topics, we are glad to conduct. ISM is glad to conduct these separate classes and also our workshops. So you can express your interest. So accordingly, you can conduct the special classes and all, or the workshops. Now let us go with the resilience. Here the risk factors, because the risk is there, therefore the resilience is there. how we can address the risk factors. I have developed the one model, the SNP, that 5S model. I will just focus on this, and many other factors are there, but I focus on this model. Okay.
Supply chains under pressure. Navigating VUCA and Bunny. In today's highly dynamic global environment shaped by VUCA, volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity, and evolving into bunny, brittle, anxious, non-linear, incomprehensible conditions, supply chains are under unprecedented and continuous pressure. Disruptions are no longer occasional, they have become the new normal, driven by geopolitical tensions, pandemics, trade policy shifts, accelerated AI adoption, rapid technological transformation, and climate-related uncertainties.
So at present, globally, the VUCA and BANI, these are the two terms we are talking about. VUCA is generally certain times we can manage it because we can forecast and we can develop our internal resilience to address the VUCA. But BANI situations are nowadays happening very tremendously disturbing the supply chain. That black swans also we call it. Black swan means some instant happen, unexpected instant happens. For example, the Israel and US attacked the leadership of the Iran. That one incident that created the entire war created further on. So that is the black swan. And with the black swan, there multiple incidents happen. That's black swarm. Swan is one instant, single instant, but that certain time as a ripple effect and multiple things can create. Again, multiple swans can happen. So that is a black swan. So nowadays situation happened black swan. One side of the some of the Chinese threat is also there about the key rare earth materials, and that is the determining all our electronics and all things wherever we are using, even our refrigerators or TVs or any of the gadgets and all things we are using, everywhere it is required. So that is one side threat. The other side of the oil prices and oil related all the means price fluctuations happening, and globally the financial market also fluctuating and threatening, and investments or other things also becomes uncertainties, and the investors also now making some pause because of the uncertainties. So this situation happening is a Barney situation. Okay. Next, let us understand. This is my model, the 5S.
SNP 5S model. The SNP 5S, a copyright model developed by SN Panigrahi, provides a comprehensive and actionable approach aligned to 5S to strengthening supply chain resilience in today's volatile and uncertain environment.
Okay. So this is the resembling to my name, SN Panigrahi, so SNP. So E is for the first is about the early signals. We have to catch the early signals of the risk factors and exposure. What is the exposure we have to understand, that is the sensing. The second is about the supply mapping. The entire supply chain mapping we have to do, where we are procuring and what the concentrations are there. For example, we are excessively depending on the Chinese concentrate some materials. Maybe there multiple suppliers are there. Multiple suppliers doesn't mean entire country is safe, because anything happen with the China and India relations are tight, always intense. So therefore anything happen with the China, then where is the alternate? So therefore we have to make the supply mapping that includes about the country wise, region wise, or the localized, and what the multiple suppliers are there. That is also we have to understand. Now multiple suppliers, as I told, is not like a single country suppliers again. That is again a dangerous. So different zones we have. For example, in India, for the gas procurement, we are excessively depending almost 60% with Qatar. One incident happened with Qatar, that Iran is attacked on Qatar gas establishments. Then our supplies are affected, and globally there is a panic. Means in India there is a panic about the gas supplies. So therefore that is how the supply chain mapping we have to do. Supply chain basis we have to expose, we have to understand. That is C, the detailing. Then navigate. In case anything happened, that agile means instant you have to respond. The agility that must be inbuilt. We have some, for example, in recent time, Indian I'm taking as a macro level. when we have all supplies are stopped from the that Iran, that Hormuz, then we have alternates we have developed immediately. The Russian oil and even Americans also gas and all things we have started mobilizing, and African countries also have started now. And recently Venezuela president is coming to India and he is negotiating, because Venezuela oil is very good for India, because India only can refine the Venezuela oil because that is a highly dense oil. So most of the countries they don't have that facilities, but India has that facilities. So therefore that is an advantage for us. So like that immediately that response has to be faster response to the changes is the agility. So that is what the navigate the shift, that is the shift. Then prepare for the future. One incident happened, okay, but this should not be even in future it happens multiple times such situations. We have a inbuilt that strength must be there, that strengthening our own capabilities to respond to the changes. Okay. Then of course sustain for the long term. That's execute the resilience and evolving. So sustain for the long term. So this is my model. So further let us understand on the model how to face the resilience.
Conclusion. Taken together, the S&P 5S model is not merely a disruption management framework. It is a conceptual implementation of conscious, continuous, and compounding supply chain resilience, where sensing feeds seeing, seeing enables shifting, shifting is sustained by strengthening organizational capability, and everything is permanently institutionalized through execution and evolution. Resilient supply chains in a disruptive world demand a holistic approach, eliminate single points of failure through diversified sourcing while building proximate, agile logistics networks that can flex under pressure. Balancing efficiency with continuity requires process alternations, designing for material flexibility, and strengthening supplier ecosystems so alternatives are always within reach. Layering digital tools for predictive intelligence enables early disruption signals to trigger swift response, while financial and energy risk strategies future-proof operations against macro shocks. Ultimately, optimizing total cost to risk ensures every resilience investment is justified not just by savings, but by the strategic protection it provides. The S&P framework transforms the supply chain from a fragile cost center and reactive systems into a robust, proactive, adaptive, and resilient ecosystem, capable of navigating the chaos of the modern world with precision and speed.
Okay, so that is about we talks about the resilience part. Now the next we discuss of the leveraging the resources, technology, and capability. Here we are talking about the nowadays you see the AI technology is completely revolutionizing the globe in every field, not only just in supply chain or in manufacturing and nothing. Every field it has been revolutionizing. For example, the risk factors, how it can have the AI, it can assess and predict and suggest certain action, how what we can take. They take the entire data, our internal data about where we are dependencies are there and what the factors are, the risk factors. Those all the simulations it can do and suggest us these are the exposure we have, and also it can suggest you these are the various remedies or the mitigations we can take, the various probable mitigation given the global means factors. So all these things can be done by the AI. So human mind generally is not possible to do. Many times you do something, but maybe some mistakes can happen that may prove to be a larger impact on the organization. But AI making the with a lot of probable aspects and simulations, and accordingly it is giving the some the suggestions how to overcome the risk factors and all things. So that is the beauty of the AI. So AI is being adopted globally, and every organization, every situation, every industry can adopt, so that market intelligence and all thing also AI being used, and for the risk and resilience AI being used, and how to make the our capabilities enhancements where the bottlenecks are there. Some bottlenecks of course we can see, but many there are bottlenecks are there which are hidden. The hidden risk also can be traced by the AI because they data driven again. Okay, so this is how the AI revolution. I'm jumping a little bit because time is gone. Finally, is about the drive the sustainable value and govern, measure, and improve. What you measure, that can be improved. If you can't measure, you can't improve. And nowadays, with the sustainability factors also come into picture, like not only our profit, because traditionally we are focusing on the profit factors. Profit means our organizational profit is increasing, how the revenue and profits. But that is one factor, because we are existing because of the profits, otherwise our company will not existing. So therefore that is one factor, but other factors also there, because every business has certain responsibility, responsibility toward the society, responsibility toward the environment, climate. Climate is already we have damaged a lot, irreparable. Frankly, I'm talking this irreparable, but still further damage we have to minimize. So therefore, some actions we have to take at the vendor's place also, how we can take the reusable materials, for example, or the recycled materials, how we can use, and how to minimize the resource consumption itself is a major the design factors and all thing of how we can do. So we can collaborate with our suppliers, so we can see from the environmental point of view how we can reduce the impact. Okay. So this is the some of the factors I'm talking about. And finally, with this, of course, the time is going off. I am leaving some time for the you to interact. So I am now open for the discussion because time is just completing that 1 hour left. So I want to have some interactions. If anybody wants to discuss, they are open.
So can you please guide the more on indexing part, like how can we, do this in raw material part
Which
if
one,
we
sir?
are
Which
procuring
one,
any
sir?
steel items?
Okay, which one you are talking?
Sir, you have told, I guess, regarding some indexing
Okay,
where you have
indexing.
referred some
Okay,
raw
okay,
material
okay,
pricing. Yes,
okay, okay.
correct. So could you
Indexing, I said.
please,
Yeah, yeah.
sir,
Indexing.
so we are procuring like, right from, this ERW seamless pipes and all
Okay,
fittings, and
okay, okay,
then,
okay,
these
okay,
raw,
okay.
some structure steels, flats,
Okay,
PMPs,
okay,
everything like,
okay, okay,
yes.
okay. Understood. The steel items you are procuring. The steel
Yes.
items, for example, in India, there is a steel indexing also there. A sale also time to time they're publishing, like HR coil and CR coil, the prices, the monthly wise and other time to time also they're revising and publishing. Those are available in public domains. Okay. Generally, sale pricing we are taking the index like our Tata Steel pricing is indexing like generally we can do. There are commodity indexing also there. From there also you can take, but generally in India we are taking these prices. So you can take that is a basis, and then value addition. From CR, for example, from CR your pipes you require yeah. So what is the value addition you are creating? That you have to understand what is the value addition with your suppliers. So you fix the price for the CR sheets, for example, and that is the base price. That is the raw material for your suppliers. Okay, and that is the index. And based on the what the value addition you are creating, plus certain profit reasonably you have to negotiate with them, and then we have to finalize the pricing. So whenever the prices are changing of the index price, and accordingly you can change the your material price. Okay. So that is one of the best way. Of course, the time short, so I'm not doing, but otherwise I could have been shown the calculations also how it can be done. But nevertheless, if you are interested, we can conduct this separate some other sessions. Again, I show you with all the calculations also how the index based we can do the negotiations. Okay.
Yes, so that will be a big help.
Yeah, okay.
Actually, we are referring some data from the,
Mm.
one of aggregator, I guess, Bigment is there.
Mm.
So they publish all the data. We have taken the
Mm.
subscription also.
Mm. Mm.
But currently, since our supplies are not consolidated or volumes are not consolidated, so we
Mm.
do not
Mm.
have any leverage
The leverage is
in
not there.
these.
Okay, okay, understood.
Yes, yes, yes.
In such case,
But
you can go
yes,
with.
we are working.
Mm. In such case, you can
We
go
are
with
working on this
bench.
category, sir. We are working on this category, and we are trying to optimize the category,
Okay.
and we are trying to evaluate the suppliers also.
Then you can go with the benchmarking. Okay, there are published data is also there for pipes and other things also, ERP pipes and ERW pipes and other things. So definitely you can go with the benchmarking. Otherwise, cost plus basis also negotiation can be done based on the indexing. Okay. Yes, sir. Next.
Understood, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
Thanks,
you.
sir. Thanks. Thanks to you. Yes, sir. Saraswati, you raised the hand.
Uh,
Yeah, yes, madam.
Hello.
Yeah, madam.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Sir. Yeah. Sir. Actually, I am in. business development and manufacturing setup.
Okay.
So so I usually do the costing for my product by the components are outsourced. So I would like to understand more on should costing.
Now, suit costing actually, as I told you, will be your product base, industry base, specific. It's not can be generalized, but industry specific and industry. For example, fabrication industry, for example, the fabrication for that, what are the items are required, what are to be fabricated, and what the welding and welding components and other welding rods can be used, and what are the cost of the labor. Like this, each of the factors we have to understand. Then accordingly we have to
Okay.
fix the what are the materials that fluctuation is. Everywhere there is the multiple indexes are there. We need not be only one index. There are multiple drivers are there. Multiple drivers we have to find out. For each of the driver, try to fix with some index based on the base of the raw materials and all thing. You try to fix that index. So accordingly you have to design it. And also, what is the value addition you are creating, what is the profit, and what is the component also you have to understand. For example, the finished goods, why, and for why manufacturing, there is many X factors are there, raw materials inputs are there, X1, X2, X3, X4 like that. Each have certain weightages are there. It's not like everything is making X1 plus X2, X3 is not the equation, but for each of them there is a certain weightages are there. The weightage is also you have to understand, and for each of that a means a factor like x1, x2, x3, what are the indexes we have to understand, then accordingly we have to fix it. Then that is the appropriate way. But if you most of the people, if you wanted, and you can send the mail to the ISM, that India means they're given the details and all things, is sent to them. And if you are more of the people are interested, we can conduct separate workshops and all things, so we can guide properly to you. Okay, because it's not just in a short time I'm telling, it may not be properly understandable, but I can explain you with the proper equations and all thing in the industry specific or company specific. I can give you with multiple examples, then we can understand. Okay.
Okay. Sure.
Okay.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
madam.
ma'am.
Thanks, madam. So, Professor Lala.
Yes, sir.
So, sir, Professor is asking how do we handle threats from new entrants and control rivalry?
Okay, okay, okay. That is actually a strategic aspect by very long term. For example, suppose you have a longer leverage in the market. For example, the Reliance I'm talking. For example, Reliance Industries for the refinery. How many people, the industry people are able to come into the refinery field? Very limited. Why it is limited? Because there is a huge investments are there and risk factors are there. Similarly, the aviation industry, the airlines. In India, for example, you see how many airlines are there? Hardly like a two are the Indigo is a monopoly, dominant, and the next is Air India, taken over by the Tatas, but unable to survive, like struggling, and other people have come and left. And because why other people are not able to come and enter in the industry? Because of the huge investments are there, and a highly regulated industry, and also the risk factors also very high. So that is what the new entrants are regulated. You individual may not be do, but this itself is a means a barrier for the new entrants to enter into the field. Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay. So, thank you, sir, for speaking in this session. We are delighted to have you as a speaker for this webinar. And thank you to all the participants for joining and participating in this webinar. So, I would like to inform you that we will be conducting a 2 day online capability program on 2nd and 3rd of July via Zoom on category management and strategic sourcing. So you all are welcome to join this program. Just hold on, I'm just presenting my screen here.
Excuse me, sir. I would like to have one question. The last final,
Yeah, fine.
if you allow me to.
Tell me, sir.
Yeah, first of all, thank you very much.
Thanks,
That
sir.
we really learned from your experience and all. It
Thanks.
was very good
Thanks.
session.
Thanks.
And my question is, sometimes that as you are belongs to steel industry, I am receiving a quotation which is below the industry prices. and they are going. When I ask for the LC payment, usually the Chinese guys they go with the 30% TT and 70% after before delivery lies. So I push them for the LC, letter of credit, and the third party inspection. But the prices are like $200 less than the market price. They are quoting around 500. The market is 700. So how do you think we should react to this?
So certain times the Chinese, some of the Chinese players are very good, no doubt, but some of the Chinese companies maybe they fraud and means not able to reliable suppliers. When they take the advance from you, you're locked.
Yeah.
Then what you do? And when
But
you are
what about the
going
LC payments, sir?
LC payments, some of the like you are also telling, if they're not agreeing for the LC, then not
No,
to
they are
go.
now they are ready for the LC.
Okay,
Now these guys
okay,
are ready
okay.
for the LC
If you are
and
going
ready
for
for
the
the third
LC,
party inspection.
yeah, those things are there. Then of course you have to go. But third party inspection, you have to ensure who are the reliable parties again. Because again, if they suggest some third parties in their own country, because that is in Chinese, yeah, and the third party inspection also, if they have the bias, then what you can do? You're all again.
No,
So you have to ensure.
if we say that, sorry to interrupt you. If you say that third party inspection is done by my customer, which is in Saudi Arabia, suppose it will be mentioned in the LC.
Hmm.
Is it going to protect our interest? Because we don't want
No,
to
okay,
get
okay.
cheated by the.
No, okay, that's true. That can be done because that is what I'm telling. Any of the third party when you're engaging, we have the credentials of the third party also, and proper that engagement. If you have the good third party that yeah, that inspectors like SCS inspection, for example, Lloyd's inspection, or in a Tata also have the consultancy there. They also inspection they are doing. So like this, if engaging the reliable the third parties, then it's good. And LC when you are adopting also LC also you see certain times the LC also like for example with the Bangladesh the LC is unreliable LCs. And many times many other countries like of African country LC is also non-reliable. So therefore you have to ensure also the reliability of the banking and other things also banking system and properly you have to establish the LCs. Okay. LCs also certain conditions you have to establish properly the LC conditions so that you will safeguard your interests. Okay. Otherwise, what the LC format given by your supplier and you are adopting, maybe certain times you are in a risk. So you have to understand the LC and you have to put you some of the LC additional conditions to safeguard your own interest. Okay.
Yeah.
Because LC bank also guaranteeing you subject to documents. So the party submit the documents, but the internally something maybe different materials are there, then how you can safeguard yourself? So like this you have to ensure, and certain times if possible you can make certain things after the delivery also certain condiments some amount you have to retain, like in LC you are opening, but the LC will be released. Only one is about the documentation charge. Once they submit the documents, the LC for one part of the LC they can release the amount. The other part is when you have delivered it, and again you make the third party inspection in your own place, because there are two inspection can engage. One is at the supplier's place and again at your place also, so that once it has been satisfied with the supplier's the certificate, that has to be submitted to the bank to release the second yeah, the subsequent part of the
Yes.
payment. Okay, like that these are risk factors when out there you have to safeguard yourself the risk, because you are dealing with unknown persons.
Yeah.
Though you are taking the price is very lucrative and you can go, but
Yes.
the part is unknown to you. You never seen to the him also. Maybe certain times you may be seeing in the Zoom and other videographing, but otherwise you're not seen to them. You're not gone to them. Their facilities and all things you don't know about. Many times they tell something like they have good facility to manufacture, but they may not be
Yeah.
able to manufacture. So therefore,
So it is.
yes, sir.
So it is advisable to visit the factory and to check that the things are okay or not.
Yeah, that is very well advisable, sir. We have to understand the credentials of the suppliers. That is very essential. Then only we can deal. But because of the prices, the very low prices, though therefore we are establishing the LC and we deal with. That is always certain times. the troublesome and risky factors. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you
Fine,
very much. We
thanks,
really
sir.
appreciate
Thanks,
your insight.
thanks,
Thank you.
thank you, thanks, sir. And
Professor
also, yes, sir.
Professor Panigrahi, this is
Yeah, thank you.
Patavira. Professor,
Yes, sir. Namaskar, sir. Namaskar.
how are you?
Yeah, fine,
Now,
sir.
one
Fine.
question which will linger on everybody's mind is for all this research, analytics, and continuously studying suppliers, you will be spending a lot of money. Where are you going to absorb this cost? This cost has to be absorbed by the company.
Yes,
So,
sir.
where will
That's
you
so
write
true.
this off?
Sir, this same like question arose long back when the computation started, and in 1991, in one of my company, we have started with the SAP. I'm just giving an example, sir. But SAP is a huge investment that time. Nowadays, of course, SAP cost is come down because that other ERP systems also developed. But those time in 1991, SAP is very limited in usage in India, very new, and the risk is again, even though we are established the means SAP in your organization, the training also required. So all these are lots of investment there, and there is a resistance also there from the employees and all things, because some people may be fearing they are not able to cope up with the new technology adoption. So all these things are there, but they adopted, and that given a much of the benefits over a period of time, because the data is now it is available. And also the, for example, earlier, if you understand, the 90s, the auditing, for example, accounts auditing, they are taking for 3 4 months continually sitting for the day and night for the audit people, the internal accounts people, for publishing the annual reports. That time annual reports are there. Now is quarterly also coming, but people are able to do within a few days, and I think will completing the quarterly reports and annual reports. But those time they're sitting for the day and night and struggling with a lot of mistakes again and again they're making mistakes because manually they're doing. So like these certain advantages are there because of the adoption of the technology. So now coming to the AI and all thing, AI able to better predict the future, the demands and supplies and risk factors and all thing. So therefore you have better leverage for it. Otherwise, for example, you are not able to focus the requirements and all things. Certain times you are maintaining the high level of inventories, and that's a cost to us. Though if we are not recording that is a cost, like, but really that is a major cost. That is what we call hidden cost.
Of course.
Okay, like this, suppose the wrong decision is taken, we are not able to predict the demand properly, and there is an opportunity there, but you are not able to meet that opportunity. We have lost the business. So what is
So
the cost of this?
in effect, Professor, you are saying that
Yes, sir.
we should adopt the latest technologies for doing all these analytics,
Yes,
and
sir.
also at the same time see that it is minimized, the cost is
Yeah,
minimized,
yeah, yeah. Yes, true, sir.
so that it is also done quickly.
Yes,
Nowadays,
yes,
it's available in a jiffy.
yes, sir.
So both quality and price, if you want to leverage, you have to adopt this
Yes,
entire strategic sourcing at the
yes, sir.
uh, UCA or PANI level. So
Mhm.
it is absolutely required. Right,
Sir,
you are.
one more. Just I will add, sir. When you are taking any of the technology, the cost factors are heavily there, no doubt, and especially with AI, lot of AI agents are there. The costs are very high. So we have to balance it. What the really we are getting benefit out of the AI. So the trade-off we have to do. May not be instantly the benefits may be coming, but over a period of time, what are the benefit you are getting out of that? Some guarantees means you have to take from the edge, the consultants and all thing also. So accordingly, we have to adapt it.
Absolutely. I think that is
Thanks.
answers the question.
Thanks, sir. Thanks, sir.
Cost analysis.
Yes, sir. Yes. Definitely, you have to do the trade-off, sir.
Uh,
Yeah, the
Sir,
trade-off.
one more thing is that what kind of course do you recommend for the supply chain professionals for the AI course? Yeah.
Sir, ISM also time to time conducting many of the programs, short-term programs and all thing. Recently, Christian Batraji is done for the AI in project management and procurement and all thing we have done. So time to time we are doing, and also there are many institutes are there, including the IIMs and IITs and all thing they are giving, but that's the heavy cost of the training. And of course, as I told you, ISM is conducting many other programs also. So please participate. They're communicating to you. If you have given to them the email and otherwise WhatsApp number and all thing, they communicate to you. Okay, all the best, sir. Thanks. This is a good
Yeah.
opportunity for professional gathering.
Thank you,
Thank
Panikar.
Thanks,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thanks, sir. Thanks.
Thank you, Professor.
Namaskar, sir. Namaskar. Namaskar.
Namaskar.